Welcome to Circuit Giles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada for the 6th round of the Sim Racing Points.com Sportscar Series. I'm joined in the booth tonight by Dean Doucette. Dean, it's going to be a great race here tonight at this world-famous track in Montreal. Drivers are on the track right now, completing qualifying. About 5 minutes left in that qualifying loop right now. This Montreal circuit has hosted Formula One since the 1980s. The NASCAR Xfinity Series, what's called the Xfinity Series, participated there for 8 years, from 2006 until 2014. And Dean, this is a very beautiful track. It's in the middle of a park, but even though it's kind of a public street course, it really has some road course aspects to it that are a lot more unique to it than a street course would be. Last week at Le Mans, William Reinhard won by 40 seconds, getting his win on the board this year. And tightening up the points battle, let's bring up that points battle right now as you look at it. Nick Dicesare with a 35-point lead over Matt Koontz, who was unable to race last week. He's out there tonight. And William Reinhard, 39 back. Then you got Joe Flanagan, Josh Wilkie, and Eric Bergdorf, who is not here as well, all in that mix, Dean. So we got some drivers. The championship by no means is it sealed by any means yet. Yeah, the practice times, he was only third quickest or maybe second quickest. William Reinhard dominating practice last night and tonight as well. And you look at the times right now with William Reinhard on top by about 7/10 of a second. These guys get as many 4 laps or 10 minutes to get their laps in. Reinhard turning down purple sectors every now and then, but just not been able to put together a good lap right now. We're watching Chris Stouffer on the track. There's Josh Wilkie. And William Reinhard actually wrecking off the last corner there. That's going to end his chance at maybe improving his time with 3 minutes to go here, Dean. But we look at this track, and we look at the uniqueness of it. These drivers haven't raced on a track quite like Montreal yet this year, where it is more of a Formula One track than it is a sports car track. For sure. Let's get into the race info here and take a look at what you're looking at with Montreal. This track is 2.73 miles, and it is 88 degrees right now, so a little bit warm. That's track temp. 88 degree track temp, 68 degrees, cloudy. So this is very racing conditions here in Montreal. We already took a look at the standings and everything else, but this is a track that is renowned for its Formula One racing. IMSA did race here, I did learn just a second ago, in 2009 to 2011, or the Grand Am Rolex series, I should say. So they did have a couple of races here. We got about a minute left here in the qualifying session, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the starting grid and the start of the race. right, we're back live here at Montreal as qualifying has commenced here for the 90 minutes of Canada here tonight. And let's take a look at that starting grid. We only have a handful of drivers, but they're still all lined up very close either way. William Reinhard on pole with a lap time of 1 minute 32 seconds, 0.652. Nick Dicesare just behind him, 2/10 off. Wilkie, the Canadian, half a second back in row number 2 alongside Joe Flanagan. Row 3 is going to be Matt Koontz and Luke Hantanaka, Dean. So 12 drivers will officially line up for the 6th round of the championship. And really, Dean, we've seen these races all year long. It's been kind of a pack. You know, you have the front 3 or 4, and then you have a nice little battle for that next position up, and then a little bit of a battle toward the back. I think we're going to see exactly the same thing here tonight. You're exactly right, Dean, and we're going to find out how this race is going to go as we get into it. The pace car rolling off right now here tonight. You look at all these drivers, and Tony Solari missing the grid, so that is going to be something we'll have to follow up on here. So 11 drivers actually gridding here right now on Montreal as these guys will take this long pace lap around, Dean. We're looking at the race analysis here. You're looking at about a pit stop, about 2 pit stops like we've always had in every race, but looking like about 35 minutes into the race, we're looking at pit stops. And I apologize, Dream Flag is out. Reinhard down into turn number 1. There's Nick Dicesare on the outside of Josh Wilkie down into turn 2, battling all up and down the track right now, Dean. And I guess they were on a different part of the track than I realized, but clean start through the front. Great battle by Dicesare, but all that battling has allowed Reinhard to step away already as Wilkie is tucked into line. Then you have Joe Flanagan, Luke Hantanaka right knocking on the back door as well. Ooh, somebody locked up, Dean. Apologies. That is Wilkie that locked up and got to get off the gas. This corner is going to be the action corner down here at the hairpin, coming on the long back straightaway. But Reinhard has increased that lead already up to 3 seconds. Hantanaka on the inside in that brightly colored Porsche. There's 3 of them out there. The 02 as Hantanaka rides the curves through the champion, the wall of champions area that is made famous by all the champions throughout different racing series that have hit the wall there. But right now, Dean, it is William Reinhard up front. Christopher, known for his IndyCar prowess, runs in an IndyCar series, a very popular IndyCar series on Sunday nights. you know, he is very good at those. He's been racing with us, racing in some oval stuff we cover on Full Throttle Sim Racing as well. But Stouffer has already made up ground 4 positions. He's the only driver moving forward. Wilkie has dropped 3 positions. So basically, Stouffer and Wilkie have basically swapped on the track right now. Wilkie now looking on Hantanaka down through this area of the track. We always see this, Dean, when these races start. You know, we have a lot of, you know, close racing at the beginning, everybody trying to jockey for position. Then everybody kind of, you know, calms down just a little bit and begins to kind of figure out where they're at on the track and starts to be a little bit more patient as the race goes on. Reinhard has increased that gap. It keeps going up. Dicesare has stabilized it. It's basically a 3-second gap between Reinhard and Dicesare. Then another 3 seconds back to this big, basically what you would call a gaggle on a road course. You got Flanagan and Stouffer battling, those guys teammates. Then you got Hantanaka and Wilkie battling. Matt Koontz goes through the grass through turn number 6. He's got to slow down and drop all the way to the back of the field. Not a good start for second place in points man Matt Koontz. Allen right in front of him in that maroon Chevrolet, the only Chevy in the field tonight. This has become a Porsche-dominated series with everybody except the front 2 and the next 2 running the Porsche colors or the Porsche logo branding, whatever you want to call it. Lane Allen through, he hits the wall of champions coming out of that last turn there. Koontz on his back bumper. I don't know if he hit it hard, but we're going to see that a lot tonight. Different track. Yeah, I don't believe that Gilles Villeneuve actually raced on this track. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was named after him. I think he was killed in that wreck before he ever got a chance to actually race an F1 race here, if I'm not mistaken. Looking back up at this battle, I mean, this is the biggest group on the track right now. Flanagan, Stouffer. But, you know, Wilkie has finally gotten around of Hantanaka, and Hantanaka trying to come back on him in the hairpin corner, and he's going to do it. He's on the back bumper. Wilkie had to get off the gas to prevent from running over him, but those 3 Proteus Auto Sim Sport cars are all lined up now all over the back of Wilkie. Theo Taylor, he's in that mix as well. He's got very similar paint scheme to the Proteus Auto Sim Sport. Chris Stouffer gone off track there just ahead of Wilkie. He's going to lose some time and drop off the back of Joe Flanagan. That's going to put him under pressure from Wilkie. Not a big off track, but it's enough to cost you some time, Dean. It didn't even register as an off track. That's how minor it was. Tanaka and Theo Taylor. Theo Taylor had to miss a couple races, but he is back in action here. The New Zealander doing a good job there. He is running in 7th place. He's got those 4 Porsches. They're all lined up together, but there you go. Looking at this view down into the hairpin. Beautiful view as we watch Josh Wilkie. Oh, and we got a battle there as that looks like James Treadler underneath. They're contact! And coming onto the casino straight, contact between Theo Taylor and James Treadler. A lot of damage on that machine. Let's take a look at that replay and see what happened between Theo Taylor and James Treadler. So on board, Treadler going into the hairpin. Great under braking. I mean, this is what you have to do. Deep braking, gets on it, and it looks like he has the position. And I think, we'll have to get a better replay of it, but I don't think he expected Theo Taylor to be quite where he was. There he goes, looking at that other angle of that incident there. But back up front, as Dean had alluded to, William Reinhard 2.2 seconds currently over Nick Dicesare. Joe Flanagan has dropped to 9 seconds back. Stouffer has caught him back up again. So Flanagan, the 53 machine, he's in this points battle as well. But right now, Dicesare just chopping off a little bit. Let's take a look at the time delta between these two vehicles, and you'll see it. There we go. I mean, it's come down from 3.1 down to 2.5 as these guys go down the casino straight into the Wall of Champions area. Yeah, that gap now down to 1.9 at the line. So it's come from 3.1 since the first initial lap, the first completed lap, all the way down to 1.9. So Nick Dicesare is coming. He is the points leader, and he's got a stranglehold on the points if he continues to have good runs. And you look at the gap on the flip side, that gap between Flanagan and Dicesare has gone from 1.7 to 7.2. So Dicesare and Reinhard are stepping away from the field.
To what Dicesare did, maybe more consistent lap times out of that machine.
Yeah, and these guys racing hard. Apologies for the technical issues there. I believe we have them resolved here, but William Reinhard, Nick Dicesare, Joe Flanagan, and Chris Stouffer up in your top 4. Stouffer has caught back up to Joe Flanagan. They pulled out a little bit of a gap on Josh Wilkie. Dean, I'm a little bit surprised. Josh Wilkie just looks a little bit out of sorts right now. Hasn't wrecked or anything like that, just hasn't been able to kind of keep that car in the background there. Tanaka locks it up trying to go around Theo Taylor. Theo Taylor lets him go, and he's going to lose spots trying to do the right thing there.
Why these guys are pushing it back here, and Tanaka is going to come out of it okay here. Theo Taylor, he wants through here, and he wants through now.
Yeah, Theo Taylor actually, Tanaka made the pass on Taylor. Taylor let him go, and actually it looks like Tanaka is going to give him that spot back for that little incident in the hairpin. So classy move by Tanaka there as he did lock up the brakes and almost get into Taylor. Taylor's been bound into a couple of times tonight, Dean, but he's still trucking.
He's still trucking, and he will. I mean, he drives hard, he drives fast. I like watching him, highly entertaining. There's a little bit of smoke out of the tires there in that turn as he's pushing this car as hard as possible.
Koontz is sitting there at the back end of this. Now, Koontz went off track in turn 6, right in this area, actually where he is right now. Lost a ton of time. Now, he's caught back up to the back of this group. So he is only about 2 seconds from 6th place right now, but he's got to get through some very fast and very aggressive drivers in front of him.
Yeah, someone can do it, though. It's Koontz. We know sometimes he just doesn't get the seat time on a certain track, and as the race goes on, he'll improve and improve and improve. I look for him to work his way into the top 5, if not higher, before this is
still battling out here.
Off track, and he is still spinning that car around.
He is stuck on there. Those rumble strips that he was on there do rise up a little bit, and if you hit it at the wrong place, they will kind of keep your car suspended there. So you look at James Treadler on the back of him now. So Treadler trying to make up time. Going on the outside, that's on the grass. That's not going to work for James Treadler. He's off course again.
Wow, that's not a passing zone. Up on the grass there, a little aggressive. I might have just lost it once one tire touched the grass there. I'm not sure, but interesting move out of Treadler.
Looking up front, it's still Reinhard and Nick Dicesare, and Nick Dicesare has cut that gap down to about 1.8 seconds, Dean. So we still have, quite a bit of time. So we're predicting about 35 minutes when our first pit stop, 35 to 40 minutes. So these guys have been racing for 15, so we still got about 20 more minutes before they have to pit.
Yeah, and pit stops are key. We've seen it time and time again. These guys are going to choose whether to take tires or not, how much fuel to take. Those guys who planned it out, thought it through before this race, always benefit. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens. Now, Jared, just a question here. There's no push to pass here. So we're tracking off-track incidents here. Lane Allen and James Treadler with a few, Hatanaka with a few, and Koontz just had his second off-track.
Yeah, Koontz off-track, and he lost a ton of time doing that. So this is Montreal Circuit, and that's the thing that we talked about, Dean. It's a road course, and you see down there at the bottom of your screen as Theo Taylor locking up in the hairpin. This is a track that races like a road course, but there's walls all around you, so you don't have a lot of opportunity if a mistake is being made. And these rumble strips are also very raised up, and we've seen drivers use those rumble strips and end up getting launched off of them, and that's what's happening to Matt Koontz. Lane Allen also caught up in that as well. So these guys finding it a little bit difficult, and that's what Montreal does. It's a difficult road course, very fun, one of my favorite tracks in North America, but these guys finding out how difficult it is. While all that was going on, Dean, the gap has actually increased between Reinhard and Dicesare.
Yeah, I'm finding it fascinating, this gap situation between these two. I may give too much credit to Dicesare, I'm not sure, but I'm always thinking he's playing with his tires, and he might have got it under 2 seconds, said, you know what, that's close enough, let's back down, continue to save tires. I'm not sure, and I probably don't give enough credit to William Reinhard, who's out here leading this thing. He also could have been backing off and now putting the gas down a little bit more, but nonetheless, this gap is ebbing and flowing, and it's highly interesting.
And you see there coming out of the hairpin, Nick Dicesare does close him down just a little bit, but down this casino straightaway, I mean, there are some aerodynamic differences between a Ford, a Chevy, the Porsche, the Ferrari, but these guys are both in Fords, so there's no aerodynamic advantage or disadvantage between them, so they're not getting any bonus on the straightaway like if they were coming up against the Porsche. And you see how hard Reinhard attacks those curbs through the Wall of Champions area there, Dean.
Yeah, he is attacking right at the moment by the looks of it anyway. So, and it's that car too. I mean, it's a very wide car he has. So, I mean, both him and Dicesare running these Fords, they're just so much bigger than the Porsches.
They are, and we checked back in with Joe Flanagan there, just smooth. And Dean, you covered Joe a lot in various other series. He's a smooth driver, but he has got some pressure behind him.
He's got a lot of pressure. I mean, Stouffer, who's been very fast here tonight, who's got Wilkie all over the back of him, and we know Wilkie, much like Koontz, is only going to improve as this race goes along. So both these guys got their hand full right now. Looking
out the back of that number 53 machine, you see Chris Stouffer right there, so another Ferrari. Like I said, those two guys, teammates there, doing a good job. But now you get to see what Chris Stouffer can do with a guy like Josh Wilkie on his back bumper. And Wilkie deep on the brakes. He's there now, Dean.
He is there. I mean, I just hopped on board with Wilkie, having a look at what he's doing here, and you can just see what he's dealing with. It's amazing, these braking zones. You got to be so precise. These guys riding so close together.
Yeah, looking out the front of Josh Wilkie as they come on to the casino straightaway here, and you see right there the Ferraris do have a little bit more top speed than the Porsche. but that is all given back in the corners because Wilkie's been able to drive in deeper under braking, and we'll stay on board with him through this Wall of Champions area here. Deep on the brakes, and he's able to hit those curbs a lot harder than those Ferrari guys are.
He is. It's a real problem for him, though. It's pretty fast. Without the top end speed, he's not getting the runs that he needs. So it's going to have to be on entry under heavy braking where he makes his move, and that's always highly dangerous.
Stouffer a little bit over driving into the center corners, turn 1 and 2, and now Wilkie is all over the back of that number 13 Ferrari. And now this is a area, Dean, you look on board Wilkie again, and this is not an area where there's a lot of passing opportunities like you alluded to. Your next one's coming up here at basically at the hairpin.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult down here, and the whole key is to come out of this corner on someone's bumper, which he does not do. So Wilkie is, again, going to have to wait another lap.
Yeah, the Ferrari is able to put the power down a little bit better than the Porsche is. Here it is. This is not the hairpin, but this is coming up to the hairpin. This is when you need to be on the back bumper, Dean, and this is, as you said, just still, the Ferrari's just great acceleration.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's straightaway speed as much as they seem to get the acceleration down better. Key corner here, though, for Wilkie, and he's not able to really stay there.
Gets in the hairpin that he's able to drive in so much deeper than these guys, and I wonder if that's costing him time. Maybe he's doing the inverse of what he needs to do there, but on board Stouffer. But looking back up front, Dean, that gap up to about 2.5 seconds. So Reinhard must have felt the pressure, and now is starting to turn up the wick a little bit.
He is. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Dicesare's right there still, though. 2.5, even 3 or 4 seconds. Not that big a deal here. We still got an hour and 10 minutes to go. And pit stops are an interesting thing, as we always talk about here. But I'm looking at a guy like Wilkie, who's stuck behind 2 guys. How early could he get in? Should he be coming in now?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And some of these guys have practiced throughout the week. I've seen them online practicing this track, and you wonder if they've made a decision on some of the setup options, or not setup options, but some of the pit options. You see Wilkie going to make a move on Chris Stouffer. That's not a good passing zone, but he's going to try to get in there. Can't get it done.
He's got to try through the corners. It's where his advantage is. He's going to try and make something happen right here.
Stouffer holding on the inside line. This is turn 6 and 7, and Stouffer lets him go.
Smart move from Stouffer. I mean, just for safety concerns to let him go. And Wilkie, really, he had to force the issue. He has to say, open the door, please. Knock, 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 because he just doesn't have the power to get it done on the straightaways.
And that was some good racing between those two drivers. Wilkie showed the nose and then decided to put the pass in Stouffer's hands and was able to hold on to that position. We look back, Theo Taylor in 7th, but Matt Koontz has recovered again. He's gotten around Blake Selandia and moved back to 8th. Now he's chasing back down Theo Taylor again. And Matt Koontz, we've seen this before. This is back at Red Bull Ring when he was several seconds behind. He ends up finishing on the podium.
Yeah, it's what he does. I mean, it's just amazing to watch all the time. I mean, Koontz, if he has open track, he could probably check his lap time. I mean, it's not going to be evident right now, but when he's on open track, after the hour mark, after a half hour into this race, when he's had enough practice, he's going to be on par with their leaders. It's a matter of how he deals with traffic.
On board Matt Koontz, he's got Theo Taylor in front of him, and looking at the back of Luke Antonaco. And Luke has got nobody behind him right now, but that machine of Theo Taylor is creeping up. But I'd be more concerned about Matt Koontz in the distance, looking back further at the rest of this field. We got Lane Allen back here doing a good job in the Corvette. Doesn't have any damage on that machine. James Treadler is right behind him. That's a battle for 10th place. Tony Solari still unable to make the start here, and Mike Watts did not make the start either. So 10 drivers on track. Reinhard leading by 4 seconds now to Nick Dicesare. So that gap has increased quite a bit, Dean, over the last couple of laps. You look at the time delta, and it has gone up quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, a shocking amount. I don't know if we're not showing any off tracks from Dicesare or anything, so he has backed off considerably, or Reinhard has really put it down. I'm not sure which we're looking at, but again, You won't know until, all the strategy plays out with pit stops.
And Matt Koontz is in. Speaking of strategy.
I love the call from Koontz. He couldn't pass these guys. They were holding him up. So why not? Get in here, get in early, get some free track out there, hopefully, and you can start turning some lap times.
So Matt Koontz is going to be the first taker here. 22 minutes into the race. James Treidler will come in behind him. So both of those guys doing the undercut strategy, Dana, which is my favorite strategy to do. And those guys, both those guys have practiced extensively this week, and I'm sure they've worked on some pit stop strategy, and that'll leave Lane Allen in ninth right now. Reinhard continues to open the gap, but I wonder, Dean, if Nick Dicesare thinks he can do a one-stopper here tonight.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, there's something going on there for sure. But right now I'm watching Flanagan and Wilkie makes a move down to the inside.
Ooh, up on the curb. And now Stouffer's there. They're going to be 3 wide coming on the Casino Straight. Stouffer backs off. Wilkie does not.
Wilkie does not. He's going to try and come back. Flanagan was trying to be nice, has put himself under all kinds of heat now from 2 cars. He doesn't know where to go. He's going to go high, and Wilkie's going to go low.
Flanagan tried to cover him off. Wilkie's going to have the inside edge. Going through the wall of champions, Flanagan backs off, and now the teammate is going to be under pressure. Stouffer's going to get by. Flanagan's going to lose 2 spots in 1 corner, Dean.
Yeah, unfortunate. Flanagan trying to do the right thing, the courteous driver that he is. He's going to lose not 1 but 2, but it might be for the best for Flanagan. He can settle in now, turn some laps, let these guys race it out, perhaps get in an incident, but Wilkie up to 3rd place now.
Well, I kind of like what Flanagan's doing. Stouffer, this is his first race. I mean, he's been racing in some of the other series at FTSR, but first race here in the Sports Car Series, not going to be in the Points Championship. Wilkie is in the Points Championship. Flanagan is in the Points Championship. If I was Flanagan, I'd let Stouffer go up there and harass Wilkie a little bit and maybe force him into a mistake and get by him again.
Absolutely. I mean, he's shown to be a little bit faster anyway, so I mean it was kind of, it felt bad to do it at the time, but I think it's the right thing for Flanagan. He should be more focused on where Hatanaka is or Theo Taylor is, as those guys are 5 to 7 seconds behind him, and he needs to keep that gap intact.
Dicesare, the gap up to 5 seconds now between Reinhardt and Dicesare. So Dicesare is either backing down or the handling has gone away on the Ford. We know for, talking to some of the drivers that drive the Ford or have tested the Ford, this car seems to go through a much more drastic change as the run goes on. You have to be pretty much laser focused and in order to turn really good laps in it, and that's why it's not a lot of drivers you see in it. It's not a very forgiving car, and I just wonder if this track and this car combination may be just not working for Nick tonight.
That could be. I mean, it could be that simple. I tend to think there's something else at play here, some kind of strategy going on, whether it's Reinhardt racing around thinking he's going to get tires, or Dicesare backing off thinking he won't. I don't know, but something is at play.
So it's Reinhardt, Dicesare, Wilkie, your top 3 now, followed by Stouffer and Flanagan. That gap between Dicesare and Wilkie is 15 seconds, so that's not a lot. We look at the pit lane times. James Treidler getting all kinds of damage repaired, so he is pretty much lost out on this race at this point. Koontz, though, on the other hand, pit time 15.7. That's a fuel-only stop, and the pit lane delta 49.6. So that's what we're going to be looking at as far as where these guys are going to come out on track. So right now, if Reinhardt pitted, he would come out right in front of Lane Allen back there in 9th place.
Yeah, and Koontz, I mean, you look at what Koontz is going to be able to do, maybe not right this minute, but in a couple of laps. I mean, he's already sub 135 time.
Oh, Flanagan has wrecked it, Dean. Apologies. Down in turn 6, Flanagan got off course, and now he's going to lose his spot to Luke Cantanaka. I just saw the end of it. We'll get a replay on it as soon as he gets it gathered back up of Flanagan off track in the barrier, it looked like.
Yeah, just got loose, middle of the corner.
So here we go. Flanagan heading down into the hairpin area. And hard on the braking, and maybe just had a little bit too much rear brake in that car, looped it around, didn't hit the barrier. so is able to get it going, but he's going to lose a spot, and that's not what Flanagan wanted.
No, I might have put the hex on him. I said he should be more worried about Hatanaka, and sure as can be, the very next lap, Hatanaka goes on by after a mistake. Flanagan will look to hold on from here until pit stops.
Hatanaka now just ahead of him. Stouffer and Wilkie are up about 8 seconds. Stouffer still hounding the driver of that 007 Porsche, Dean. So right now it's Reinhard, Dicesare, Wilkie, 2 Americans and a Canadian on your podium right now. Stouffer in 4th, Hatanaka 5th, Flanagan, and then Theo Taylor, the New Zealander, back in 7th, followed by Salandia, Allen, and Koontz, your top 10.
You know, and speaking of Koontz, not his best times yet, but each lap, the last 2 laps, is sub 135, and they're getting faster and faster. And he's got all this open track. I love that early pit stop, Jared. I know you like the undercut. I mean, Koontz is going to make up a lot of track position with this move he made.
Yeah, I just wonder, where this is all going to shake out. We already talked about that pit lane delta. Salandia, it's about 50 seconds, and Matt Koontz is only about 10 seconds off of that, putting Reinhard under some pressure after pit stops.
Yeah, it's going to be highly interesting to see how it all shakes out. Right now, we're approaching that 1 hour mark, and pit stops are imminent here. I mean, they tend to go a little long, Jared. Although you like the short stop, I do too out here. They tend to go long, these guys.
Yeah, they do tend to go long quite a bit in these races, but I have to wonder, Dean, Nick Dicesare has dropped off to a second since the last time we checked on this gap, which was about 5 minutes ago. He's dropped off another second to 5.5 seconds, running 134.3, so not slow by any means, right there within the reasonable range, but I have to wonder if there is a fuel strategy involved with what Dicesare is doing. It's going to be interesting to see when he comes in.
Yeah, it's so entertaining. It could be fodder from the booth. I mean, it could be as simple as Reinhard is just that much quicker. And, he won last week, Jared, and he has shown in practice to be the fastest. So let's give him his due. William Reinhard, heck of a driver, putting down some stellar times out here.
Yeah, he is, and he is doing a great job. Like I said, won the race last week at, there we go. We got a battle for 3rd place. Stouffer up on the curves, and Wilkie gets loose. He hits the curves, and Stouffer goes by him. Holds on to it, though. Almost spun it out, but Wilkie with an incredible save and doesn't lose too much time.
Unbelievable. Once again, so down into that corner, Wilkie trying to get it done under braking. And Stouffer said, I'm not giving it up because I got the next corner on the inside. And really, Stouffer did a nice job. Wilkie just in a bad position there, and they both handled it quite well.
Let's say look at a replay at that position. You see Stouffer gets a great run out of the hairpin down the casino straight. They're side by side, and Stouffer there with the preferred line on the inside. And you see just Wilkie that is just tight through there.
It's just hard racing. I mean, and then they handled it so well. I mean, Wilkie just barely getting loose there, gathering it back up. But Stouffer, I didn't even realize was the guy behind, so he made the pass there. So Chris Stouffer in his debut, man, up to 3rd, and he is really charging, Jared. He's not here to make friends. He's here to win races. Yeah,
he is up to 3rd position. On the podium there. So the first 2 drivers, as you can see from our scoring, and we got Nick Dicesare on pit road at the 58-minute mark, Dean.
Wow, a shocking call. I was expecting him to go long, thinking he was milking some tires there, but of course I would be wrong, and Dicesare's in. Interesting to see if he goes with no tires. I'm pretty certain he will.
Stouffer stays out, Wilkie stays out, Reinhard stays out. We look at Luke Hatanaka, he stays out. Joe Flanagan stays out, and looks like Theo Taylor is coming in. He's coming in hot. If he's able to get that, he does get slowed down. That is a good pit entry for Theo Taylor. That's a guy that spent some time, Dean, on entering pit road.
Yeah, Theo Taylor coming in very aggressively. It's a great move. Make up some track position here on entrance.
Dicesare still on pit road. That pit time 21.5. So he actually had a pretty slow time compared to Matt Koontz. And I wonder, we've seen this before. Matt Koontz has made some fuel calls that have been a little bit different, and Dicesare down the way. 55.67 pit lane time, 21.55 as the pit time.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure. I mean, that's a full tank of fuel, I imagine. It's Theo Taylor, virtually the same time, about a second faster on pit road. So these guys just filling up the tank, whereas a guy like Koontz is not. Koontz is saying he's got his fuel mapped out. He does not want to fill that thing up. I think Koontz doing a little better job.
And that's going to pay off for Koontz. He is going to leapfrog Theo Taylor on the undercut by about 4 seconds. He came in about 4 seconds behind, and you see that the difference is that pit lane time. That's exactly what made it up for Matt Koontz. Dicesare is still ahead of Koontz by about 20 seconds right now, but I wonder if Koontz is going to have to pit and take more fuel in the second round. We'll see what happens. But right now it's William Reinhard well ahead of Chris Stouffer, who is back under pressure again from Josh Wilkie. Joe Flanagan hits pit road.
Yeah, Flanagan is in. Stouffer out here doing a great job. Wilkie, he badly wants to get back up here. He's, and you see a little bit of smoke come out the back of Wilkie's car as he's pushing to get up here and engage in this battle one more time. I
talked to Chris Stouffer before the race, and he has raced this track with the IndyCar as Lane Allen goes down pit road over at the Indy Elite Series, and has done very well there. And that is a very top-level IndyCar series, so I expect him to do well tonight. And right now, he's got everything he can handle with Josh Wilkie all over the back bumper of that 13 machine going down into turn number 6 right now. And Wilkie has just been better under braking so far tonight, Dean, but he just hasn't been able to get out of the corner as well.
Yeah, he's had his good points and his bad points. I also want to highlight over on YouTube, we got the Stevie Knickers out here rooting for William Reinhard, who's on pit road.
Reinhard on pit road. And Stouffer, you can see the gap. Stouffer is just now coming onto the casino straightaway. Reinhard is already halfway down pit road. So we'll see what these guys do. Wilkie looks on the inside, throws a dummy, and Stouffer and Wilkie are heading straight into pit road as well. Lucan Tanaka also coming in, Dean.
Coming in hard is Tanaka.
And Salindia will come in as well. So that's going to turn it back over to Nick Dicesare. He's already pitted. Where will Reinhard and Nick Dicesare come out in relation to each other? Dicesare coming into the Wall of Champions area right now. Reinhard still on pit road.
Long pit stop for Reinhard.
Now he's down the way.
And speaking of long stops, Joe Flanagan, our only guy to take 4 tires with a time of 48.7. We'll see how that plays out when the second round of stops come up.
Joe Flanagan's dropped all the way back behind Lane Allen. We're watching the pit lane right here. Dechesare's gone by, so here comes Stouffer. Matt Koontz is right there on the track. Matt Koontz is going to be up to third place, or right on third place. Koontz through the center S's. He's going to come out right next to Lucan Tanaka.
Yeah, great job by Koontz with that early pit stop. Has shuffled him already into the top 5. Unbelievable job from the 69 machine of Matthew Koontz.
And a good job by Lucan Tanaka, who is able to leapfrog Josh Wilkie on a great pit stop. Wilkie a little bit slow there. But now this thing has concertinaed back up, Dean. They're all back together again from third all the way to 7th.
Shout out to Pepco Joe, the concertina man. And yes, it has accordion back up here.
Stouffer.
He himself, Pepco Joe, has caught Lane Allen now. Imagining Lane Allen would move on, let him move on by when he gets close enough.
Yeah, with the 48-second stop, Dean, I'm thinking that is a tire change for sure. We didn't get a chance to look at Flanagan's stop, but that is the only thing that I could think of, unless he had damage from going off track. But otherwise, didn't see any real damage on the side of that car. Allen and Flanagan battling. That's a battle for ninth. Theo Taylor and Blake Salindia battling for 7th. And then we got Koontz, Tanaka, and Wilkie battling for 4th. And they're all nose to tail coming into the Wall of Champions area, Dean.
Yeah, and having a guy behind you, you might think, you know, wouldn't hurt you the same as having a guy in front of you. Of course it doesn't, but, you know, that mirror, and you see there, Tanaka looking at the inside, just changes your entry points, changes your, you know, your ability to get on and off the gas in your braking zones. So this is hindering Koontz even from behind.
And Tanaka's got a mirror full from Wilkie. We look out the back of Koontz, and he has got a battle on his hands right now. Reinhard, 8 seconds. I know we had some guy. Oh, and Wilkie with a big power move down into turn 6 underneath Tanaka. Tanaka lets him go.
Yeah, he let him go there. Wilkie made such a good move, he couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. That was probably what it was, Dave. That was a whale of a move. And now this is Porsche on Porsche action. So there's no, aerodynamic, like we talked about before, no manufacturer advantage or disadvantage between these three drivers. They all have the same exact thing. And that battling has allowed Koontz to step out. But Stouffer has stepped away. Oh, Koontz locking it up into the hairpin. That's going to cost him some time, Dave.
Yeah, not much there, but a little mistake there. This can be highly entertaining going forward. You got the 13, Chris Stouffer, the 69 and Matthew Koontz, and you got the 007, Joshua Wilkie now. That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. These guys fairly evenly matched, and we're going to see as this race goes along. This battle's going to heat up at some point.
Jumping on board Luke Tanaka in the 0-2, and you see he is just mirroring what Wilkie did, but he had such a great pit stop, he was able to leapfrog Wilkie. But looking back in the back, we got Theo Taylor and Blake Salindio battling. That is a battle for 7th place between the Canadian and the New Zealander back there. But William Reinhard, what can you say? He has opened up that gap to the largest lead of the night, 7.2 seconds over to Cesare.
Yeah, really amazing here, and he continues to be a 10th or 2 or 3 faster than Dicesare. So this is all William Reinhard. All the speculation from myself in the booth here, throw it out the window. Reinhard is just proving that he is a great driver, and we've seen flashes of it, but after last week's win and this performance so far here tonight, he is done with just having flashes. He's putting it all together, and he's looking to make it 2 in a row here tonight.
Yeah, he is, and he is doing a great job, well out front right now. Stouffer in 3rd place. He's about 20 seconds back, so not really a factor in the overall win right now. But he has got Koontz and Wilkie not really chasing him down, but they are starting to make some progress, but not enough right now. Wilkie trying to catch back up to Koontz after making that move on Tanaka. But Theo Taylor is edging closer to Tanaka as well. Gained about a second over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, very interesting. All these battles out here, and Stouffer, the rookie, I got to give it to him. We don't know a lot about him. He alluded to the fact that I think he does some Indy racing. He is shown to be a quality driver. What could he have done if he was up here in the better starting position? He's up 5 spots on the night. He's only 18 seconds back. He might be a little faster than Cesare at this point.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Although, we talked about it, during our pre-race meeting. No cautions on road courses. Not that we would have had any. I don't think there's really been any wrecks or anything like that. But not having any cautions really does kind of set you at a disadvantage. You never really get a chance to catch back up.
Could always reach the admin hand out, Jared. We could bunch this thing back up, but no, it's all about strategy. It's going to be big here. I mean, you look at Joe Flanagan, for instance, the only guy to take tires. How's this going to play out for him? We've seen this from him before. He's out here on completely clear track, right, just running his laps, minding his business, and got nothing to worry about as far as influences on his car or his lap times. And then next stop, he probably won't take tires. Some will. He'll probably flip-flop back into the top 5. So I like the way Flanagan thinks out these races.
It'd be interesting to see. He finished 3rd at Watkins Glen with that strategy. But back up to 4th place. Koontz is all over, has Wilkie all over the back bumper. And Wilkie's going to look down, throws a dummy going into the Wall of Champions area there, pit road entry, decide against it. Koontz cuts the corner.
That's a penalty. Koontz will have to pull up. By goes Wilkie. And that's what I talked about being harassed from behind. You get a guy coming like that, and you just over push the corner, and bam, now Koontz is going to have to settle in. Both these guys, Wilkie and Koontz, high-class drivers. They're going to make their way up here and perhaps challenge Stouffer, but I don't know. Stouffer's looking great.
And Tanaka is also catching up to Koontz, and that was what, Dean, you called it. You called it 100%. The little bit of pressure. I don't think Wilkie was even trying to make a move there. Throws a little bit of a dummy, makes Koontz think about it, and Koontz makes a mistake going through the wall of champions area, and Wilkie through to 4th place. Can he chase down Stouffer? So these guys pitted around the hour mark or so. So these guys, you're talking, another 30 minutes. You're talking about 30 minutes left in the race that these guys will probably come in again.
They might. I mean, and you might see another short pit out of Koontz. I mean, it worked so well for him in the first go around. He might try it again, or someone else could try it. But, talk about that pressure thing, Jared. We talk a lot about it on the NASCAR side of stuff. Fill in that mirror. When you're trying to drive down into a corner and get your braking zone just perfectly, and you're focused on the corner, and all of a sudden you see a car just disappear out of your mirror, and he's gone to the inside, even if it was for a brief second, it can throw your mind for a loop, and then you miss your braking zone. It seemed like that's what happened to Koontz.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better, but right now it is all William Reinhard still. We haven't given William Reinhard enough airtime right now, but he is dominating right now. 7.6 second lead. Won at Le Mans by 40 seconds. That is a little bit skewed because Le Mans is a 5-mile track, so it's a little bit different than Montreal, which is a 2.5-mile track. But Reinhardt just doing everything he can. Doesn't have to push the issue. Fastest driver on the track last lap was Joe Flanagan back there 9th. He does have fresh tires. He is 20 seconds behind Blake Salindia.
Yeah, it's so great a call by Flanagan. Running clean track, fresh tires. He's putting lap times down. It's really going to play out for him. It's a little slower that lap, but still, great job out of him.
And we look, Theo Taylor under some pressure from Blake Salindia, but he has opened that gap back up coming out of that corner. Back up front to 3rd place, Stouffer and Wilkie. That's the battle, and Stouffer's actually started to pull away from Josh Wilkie just a little bit. That gap has come to 2.3 seconds. Right now, he is maintaining the gap to Dicesare, but still 19 seconds up the road.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say about Stouffer, except for he looks very, very good out here. And looking on our other rookie, Blake Salindia, apologize on the last name again, but what do we know about him, Jared? What's his past? And is this guy, I mean, he's doing a nice job. He's just up one spot. He's just coming around here trying to put in some laps. And maybe as compared to Stouffer, who's trying to get out there and win or get a podium, Blake's kind of doing the opposite, trying to make friends and play nice out here by the looks of it so far.
Well, he's on that team with Luke Antonaka and James Traylor. Those guys been doing the 24-hour series. And I think they did pretty well a couple weeks ago at Le Mans. But otherwise, as far as other series, I don't know what his background is, but definitely a sports car driver, 2,000 iRating, so you definitely know he's a decent driver on road.
Yeah, he looks decent. He's doing a nice job here stalking Theo Taylor at the moment, and it looks like he's content to kind of stay in this little buffer zone and just wait for a mistake.
Look at these other drivers. I mean, Reinhardt, like we said, 8 seconds now. But Stouffer, that gap, we didn't see any mistakes, but there you go. Looking down here in the hairpin, Wilkie and Koontz have both caught up to Stouffer.
Yeah, they've caught up to Stouffer. Stouffer catching up to Dicesare. So it's looking like 3, 4, and 5. Maybe your second fastest set of guys after William Reinhard.
Flanagan actually the second fastest on track right now, but Wilkie the fastest that last lap with a 134 flat. Reinhard just behind, also at a 134 flat as well. So we got some fast drivers all over the field right now, but these top four are third through sixth are definitely going to start kind of accordioning back up, Dean. I think any time now, as Stouffer, I think he's just being a little bit too conservative right now.
Wow, maybe. I mean, I think he's doing the right thing here. I think he might be thinking about no tires and you got to save these tires. If these guys are not going to take any tires during this race, it is going to get very difficult. We've seen that in previous races where, okay, they're good for 2 stops, no doubt, but halfway through that third stint on the track, things start to go away and wipeouts start to occur.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and we're going to see what happens. Pit stops somewhere in the next 12 minutes or so, 12 to 15 minutes. So that's going to be something we'll have to take a look at as that time continues to get, inch closer toward the end of the race. Halfway through right now, 42 minutes left on the clock. Reinhard leading by 8.6 seconds. The gap continuing to increase between Reinhard and Dicesare. The gap between Dicesare and Stouffer down to 19 seconds. And Stouffer has Wilkie and Koontz and Luke Hantanaka all kind of in that range with him.
I tell you, they're all running the same lap times virtually, Jared. It's amazing to watch. And it's all going to come down to pit strategy. Between 3rd and 6th place, pits are going to play huge. Flanagan, the wild card, of course, with that tire stop. So I can't wait, man. We're almost there. We're about 10 minutes away from pit stops.
Yeah, Dean, you talked about the last lap time. We bring that up. And you look at it, I mean, everybody in... Oh, Matt Koontz just threw down the fastest lap of his race at 1:33.8, but everybody else inside the top 7 running within a couple of tenths of each other. And that's... You're not going to gain a lot of time when everybody's running about the same lap times.
No, you're not. But Matt Koontz doing Matt Koontz things as he gets out here, and you see it week after week. If he doesn't get the seat time for practice, about halfway through the race, he starts to really show his speed and his ability, and you're seeing it now. Throwing down, Koontz was what, a 1:33.85 last lap, a very, very fast lap.
Yeah, very quick. Fastest lap of his race and fastest lap that last time by 2/10 over Reinhard. So he is caught back up to Wilkie. Wilkie under a little bit of pressure, a little bit sloppy through turn number 7. They're coming down into turn number 8 now. And this is actually the hairpin, apologies. And, Stouffer, a little lock up there. Nothing major, but we have seen a little bit of a front lockout out of those Ferraris here tonight. Hantanaka has been dropped, and Theo Taylor's starting to catch up to him.
Yeah, Hantanaka's got to worry about Theo Taylor and Joe Flanagan with those tires. So he's just he should be comfortable where he's at and wait for a mistake. I think this Stouffer Wilkie Koontz situation is going to come to a head before this night is over and perhaps lead to an incident.
Well, there you go. There's a call. Lane Allen off track. That is down in, where are we at there? That is down in the turn 6 corridor, and he's got off track. No damage on that car. Looks like he may have clipped the curbs, but a tough night for Lane Allen back there, running in 10th. Just not having the night I think he's wanted to have.
No, it's not Lane Allen's night. This course just not suiting him well. Quality driver. I don't think he likes the air up here in Canada.
And he told me, before the race, he really loves this track, one of his favorite tracks, but it does not love him back. Unfortunately, Lane Allen dropping back there in 10th position. Treadler, the only driver out right now or in the garage with that damage on his machine. William Reinhard leading. Dicesare, that is now 9 seconds between the top 2 drivers. 20 seconds between Dicesare and Stouffer. Wilkie a little bit loose off that last corner as Koontz continues to start catching up to him and putting him under a little bit of a pressure here going into the hairpin. And Stouffer locks up ahead of him.
Yeah, Stouffer locked up a couple times, and it's a case of those mirrors. You start looking in those mirrors with these guys coming, and the breaking points again. So Stouffer's got to stay focused forward, maybe turn the mirror down so he can't see those guys and just drive.
Yeah, Dean, I was in a similar situation in NASCAR vehicles in an Xfinity race at Watkins Glen. And, sometimes the best thing to do is just drive your line. And if the other guy makes a move on you, so be it. But, it is best just to not pay attention to that mirror. But Stouffer, I think they are disappearing on the mirror because Wilkie has been put under enough pressure by Koontz, put under enough mistakes that Koontz is caught up to the backup.
Yeah, Koontz is the man to watch. I mean, Wilkie, all 3 of these guys are very equal and very high quality drivers. But Koontz still the guy who's improving, as the race goes along. So, Wilkie's got some real concerns here, and he's much like Stouffer. He's got to, forget about the mirror and just drive.
Reinhard leading 9 seconds over Koontz. So basically, the 9 seconds, you see it on the screen there. Reinhard leaving the hairpin as Dicesare coming into the hairpin. So that's what the difference is. Right now through turn 6, that is Stauffer over Koontz. Koontz got up to the back of Wilkie, but then he made a mistake and dropped off. This is going to be, whoever blinks first, Dean, in this 3-4-5 battle.
Yeah, and it's going to be pit stops, Jared. I mean, they're going to be huge. Even if you do the same thing, 1 second on pit road could leapfrog you from 5th to 3rd. So, right amount of fuel, and we've seen Koontz took the lower fuel load. Does he have to take more fuel than the other guys? It's going to be tricky down pit road.
Theo Taylor, the runner-up in the GTE Pro Series last year with these same exact vehicles, under intense pressure from Blake Salindia now. He made a little bit of a mistake coming out of the hairpin, or coming into the hairpin. Salindia caught back up to him, but it looks like Theo Taylor's got that thing righted again. A little damage on the back of the 777. But we want to give these guys a shout out, having a great battle back here, 7th and 8th. The New Zealander Theo Taylor just ahead of the Canadian Blake Salindia. Also Josh Wilkie, another Canadian, up there in 4th place. So a couple of drivers with their home races here out here tonight with William, but it's William Reinhard out of Texas leading the way over Dicesare from Connecticut.
Reinhard just doing a masterful job out here. I mean, I love to be able to sing his praises because, he deserves it. He's shown how great he is as a driver. Beating the likes of Dicesare, Stauffer looking great, Wilkie, Koontz. I mean, these are no slouches, so he's doing a great, great job.
Yeah, and this championship battle is by no means over. Reinhardt's had some issues at the beginning of the year, Dean. We remember back to Zandvoort. He was up front, gotten tangled up, got off track a couple times. Watkins Glen, the same thing. And you think about those races, he might be the point leader if not for those kind of, I guess you would maybe call them rookie mistakes.
Yeah, he's definitely let a couple get away. I mean, I believe he had a pit road incident at one point as well. So Reinhardt's had his troubles early on, but he has shown the ability to improve, to learn from those mistakes and move on. And that's what you look for from a driver. Not a mistake-free driver. Of course, everybody would love that, but one who learns and adapts over time. And I think William Reinhardt is that guy.
Reinhardt doing a good job.
The dog likes him. He's calling him out. He's all for him.
And
Reinhard leading here as Jared gets attacked by his dog at home. But Dicesare now 10.5 seconds back. Stauffer, 3rd place. Wilkie in 4th, still right there now on Stauffer. Koontz is falling off slightly, so Koontz, the guy, of course, if I talk him up, he's going to fall back a little bit. That's the way these things go. But Wilkie and Stauffer, really, this battle's starting to heat up. Yeah,
and Dean, you talk about it. This race getting a little bit cloudy out there here at Montreal, and this, it's kind of, like a slingshot almost. You got a guy kind of pulling towards you, and then he catches them, and then they kind of slide off. But Wilkie is there on Stauffer now. Stauffer has not been put under this much pressure since before the last pit stops, which they are imminent again.
They are imminent, and I mean, I look for the short pit. I mean, Koontz did it. I don't see why you couldn't do it again. You shouldn't have to add more fuel than you did last time. You just did a full half hour from your last pit stop with the fuel load you put in it. So he should be able to get away with short fuel again, and he's in. Koontz is in.
And we expected that. Koontz at the 35-minute to go mark. He is going to be back in. That means everybody can make it from here. We look at the track temperature, Dean. It is down to 79 degrees. This is the raciest the track's been all day long. So this is going to be interesting to see what Koontz can do on this pit stop.
Well, more interesting, I think, is what Stauffer and Wilkie do to counter this. Are they aware? Do they come in this lap? Or if they wait another lap or two, it might be too late and they lost that track position.
So Koontz is in. Now he is going to drop back a little bit in the running order currently. There we see Dicesare on screen. That gap is 12 seconds now. So Dicesare continued to lose time. Flanagan goes by Koontz now. So nobody else is pitting. Koontz is out. and he is not going to beat Flanagan out, so he's going to drop behind Flanagan ahead of Lane Allen, who is looking like he might get lapped here in the next few minutes as Reinhard's caught up to the back of the 14 machine.
And Koontz with a 21-1 compared to his first pit stop of just over 15 seconds. So he put more fuel in there. I'm really surprised at that call, losing 5 seconds compared to his first pit stop. Interesting out of Matt Koontz.
Well, you think, he did this strategy before, Dean. I think the strategy was get as least fuel as you can, get around some guys so you're not battling them in the middle part of that race, then take enough fuel to get to the end and allow yourself to undercut there. We'll see how it plays out, but it's going to be an interesting strategy call for Matt Koontz in that machine.
Yeah, super interesting. He has got to put down a hot lap, and that's not easy on brand new tires. But Koontz, all important laps here as Stouffer and Wilkie remain out on the track.
And he did not take tires, so that's going to be something else too. Low fuel, old tires, especially this late in the run tires. It's going to be interesting to see if, we've seen this in the past. Drivers, mistakes start to increase with that low fuel load and old tires.
They do, and that's exactly you're going to see. With about 15 minutes left in this race, you're going to see some of these guys, once they get that full fuel load on those old tires, they're going to struggle a little bit. Some of them who are not ready for it, so look for Flanagan to continue to move up the board.
Lane Allen getting lapped by William Reinhard, moves aside, tucks inside, and Lane Allen, just not the night that he was looking for back there in 10th place. Wilkie putting Stouffer under pressure, but at the same time, just hasn't been able to get inside 8/10, and there you go, locks up in the hairpin.
As soon as he mentioned him, Jared locks up. And I was just going to say, though, even though those two are battling, Stouffer is still catching Dicesare. Now, not much. We're looking at from like 19.8 seconds to 19.5 over a 15-minute span, so they're virtually running the same times. But very impressive what Stouffer and Wilkie are doing compared to Dicesare.
What I find more interesting, Dean, is nobody's covering off the undercut from Matt Koontz. Nobody on the track has elected to come into the pits yet. Koontz is still out, is the only driver that has pitted the second time in this race. Everybody else said, that's fine. We're going to stick to our strategy.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, I don't like it really, but I like the fact that you have a strategy, you're going to stick to it. But this is all to Koontz's advantage. You're going to have to see what his lap time is here and his next lap. They're going to be the big laps for Matt Koontz to see if he gained any track position or not. Remember, the longer these guys stay out, the less fuel they got to put in and the less time they got to spend on pit road. So he's going to have to make up that time as well.
Koontz in lap was a 146.5. Out lap was a 203.8. So he should be coming around the line any time now. Yes, he just came across the line. 135.1 his first out lap. Not really as fast as I expected, Dean.
It kind of is to me. For a brand new tire, old tires, full fuel load, I think it's a decent lap, but he has got to go sub, 134.5 here on this lap, or in that neighborhood, to really make some ground up on Stouffer and Wilkie.
Dicesare, by the way, Dean, has now under 18 seconds now between Dicesare, under 19 seconds, apologies, between Dicesare and Stouffer. So Nick Dicesare, maybe that car is just not working the way he wants it to at this track, as Wilkie has caught back up to Stouffer. But Dean, he gets to this 0.8, 0.9 realm, and it just seems like that Porsche just can't do anything behind the Ferrari. Hantanaka in from 5th.
Yeah, Hantanaka's in. I like this pit stop, but it begs the question is, why did Wilkie not short pit? That's the whole point of short pitting. You're stuck behind a guy, it's giving you trouble. Get in there, get out of traffic, and turn some clean laps.
The only thing I could think of is that these guys think that they can make it based on when they pitted, but that's a stretch.
I don't think that's the case at all. I think they're just looking for a top-up to go maybe 11 seconds on their pit stop, something like that, which would be big when you compare it to a guy like Koontz, who had a 21-1 on the pit stop. But we'll see how it plays out.
We'll see how it plays out from the pit lane cam, as Koontz is going to go around there. Service down, done and down on Hantanaka. It's going to be close. Koontz is going to win that battle off.
Yeah, Koontz Koontz, who went sub 135 last time by, starting to get, you know, a little bit more used to the fuel load and everything. He's got to continue putting down even better laps than this. As it stands right now, he is not going to leapfrog these guys.
No, he's not. He's still about 8 seconds behind Joe Flanagan. We think Flanagan's still got to make another pit. Lane Allen in right now from 10th position, leaving us with 9 drivers on the lead lap. 8 drivers that have not pitted yet. Reinhard leading by 15 seconds over Nick Dicesare as that gap continues to increase.
Wilkie taking a peek here, Jared.
Oh, and Wilkie up on the curves in the center corners. Stouffer holding his own. Stouffer doing a good job.
Yeah, Stouffer did a great job under braking, late braking, smooth braking. Great job by Chris Stouffer. Wilkie trying to make him make a mistake, but Stouffer seemingly unshakable right now.
Looking out the back of Chris Stouffer to Josh Wilkie. And these are some top talents right here on this type of track, I guess. I don't know if Stouffer's raced a lot with GT cars, but doing a good job. And Wilkie is all over the back of him. Stouffer not even flinching right now.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, these two already have an incident under their belt.
Oh, Wilkie with the power move. Off track, and Stouffer's just going to go right back around the outside. Wilkie crowds him up toward the wall. Stouffer's going to have a run down into the hairpin.
What a battle here.
And Stouffer's going to tuck in. He decided not to shove it down in there.
Yeah, he just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe he was just broke, I guess you would say, by Wilkie. I'm not sure. But Stouffer, nice and clean anyway. Like I was just going to say, they already have an incident under their belt, so he's peeking still. Stouffer's still looking. Yeah,
the incident was Wilkie getting off the corner right here. Got on those curbs and spun out right there next to Stouffer. So nothing that happened that time by. So these guys, very clean racing between these drivers for as close quarters as they have had.
Yeah, I give Stouffer credit. I mean, he's new out here. He didn't defend overly enthusiastically there, and I like that because he did make that initial move on Wilkie where they got together. You can say there's no real fault in anything that happened there, but nonetheless, you're new to the league. I don't know if you want to ruffle a guy's feathers twice, whether you're right or wrong, and Joe Flanagan is in.
Joe Flanagan in from 6th position. Where can Flanagan cycle out in this race? There comes Koontz. So Koontz is definitely going to be ahead of Flanagan, already ahead of him down the main straightaway there. Hantanaka is coming into turn down through the Wall of Champions area, so he is going to definitely be ahead of him, and so is Blake Salindia. So Flanagan going to tuck in deep in the field again. Looking again, Dean, that is another 2 seconds that William Reinhard has picked up on Dicesare. Unbelievable, as Dicesare just continued to drop back.
Yeah, Dicesare, and he's coming in.
And he's in from 2nd place. This is about what we saw the first time around, Dean. Everybody pitting just about the same amount of laps and time that they did the first time around, which I always find interesting. So we're going to keep an eye on Wilkie and Stouffer. They're coming down the casino straightaway here, and it looks like it's yep, they're still on track.
Yeah, going to be super interesting here. Dicesare down the slow crawl down pit road. He's in safely into his stall. How long does he sit here? This is going to be key.
And there you go, 2nd and 3rd going through. Theo Taylor has not pitted. He is going to come in now.
Dicesare, 16.3 on the pit stop. That is over 4 seconds faster than what Koontz did.
We look at the pit lane as Dicesare comes out. Nobody around him, so everything is good there. Theo Taylor's on pit road now, and we're waiting for Matt Koontz to come around and see where he is going to cycle out here in relation to Theo Taylor. He's coming down the main straightaway right now, and he had about a 7-second advantage on Theo Taylor. Yes, he's going to come out ahead of Theo Taylor.
But Koontz has lost a ton of time to Dicesare. He is now 29 seconds back. He was about 22, 23 before pit stops. So that's a net loss for Koontz. Stouffer is still to make his pit stop, as is Wilkie. But I think they're both going to beat Koontz out.
Hantanaka on the overcut. Dean. He has actually lost time. Theo Taylor on his back bumper now. Right now, coming out of pits, only about 9/10. If he can get those tires warmed up and working, Theo Taylor might have an opportunity to move around. Luke Hantanaka and Blake Salindia also in this group as well. So Hantanaka, slow pit stop, going to cost him some time.
Yeah, definitely going to cost him some time here. And I would love to see this battle come forth, because Theo Taylor and Hantanaka are both very similar from my perspective and viewing out here. Very fast, and they put on a heck of a show if they do battle out here.
Stouffer did make a move on Wilkie while we were talking about that, Dean, but he backed out of it and lost a little bit of time. But he is not letting Wilkie, get too far ahead of him right now.
He is not. The times out here, though, Wilkie, 1:34.4, faster than our race leader last time by. Very interesting.
And Stouffer actually the fastest at a 1:34.2, but will likely not have as good a lap now as William Reinhard on pit road, Dean.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Reinhard has quite a big lead. I think you'll see him take his time, have a standard 15-second stop here, nice and smooth, maybe 16 seconds, but should be no problem for William Reinhard.
And we're going to watch Wilkie and Stouffer. They came in around the same time as Reinhard. Will they follow that same strategy through? We'll see here as they come down the casino straightaway. And I think if you're Stouffer, I think if Wilkie stays straight, I think you go in. And he does. Yeah, exactly. Do something different than Wilkie. I like the move by Stouffer.
Definitely. Pretty aggressive pit stop there. Pit entrance, I should say. See him light up the tires a bit. It's a nice move. Now, he has to get his fuel right. He cannot put 1 gallon of fuel extra, or liter, whatever we're on here in this series, and he just can't do it. So he's got to go like 14 seconds. I mean, that's got to be the goal. Sub 14.
William Reinhard was able to get ahead of Josh Wilkie on exit. Now, Wilkie will have to pit, but you don't want to be held up behind any driver, whether it's your teammate or not, when you come out of the pits. So that is good news, as Wilkie probably will not put him under pressure. Stouffer down the way, and Dicesare just now going through that area. So Dicesare, it's going to be about 19 seconds, so no gain there for Stouffer on Dicesare.
Stouffer right on the number, a 14.2 on the stop. Reinhardt was a 14.5. These guys doing it right. Now it's going to be on Dicesare. Dicesare has to do even better than that. He's got to go with a 13-second stop. I mean, the board's so shuffled, I'm not sure who I'm looking at anymore, Jared.
Oh, Nick Dicesare off track.
Oh my goodness, that is going to kill him.
But Josh Wilkie, at the same time, William Reinhard lets him by, so not to hold up him on the pit strategy there. So good move by Wilkie to get around his teammate there. It likely is going to come in the pits, but you don't want to be held up on your in lap at all. So Wilkie is coming in the pits, and that's going to be huge to see if that's going to play off for him. Maybe that will help him stay ahead of Stouffer. At the same time, Dicesare lost 4 seconds, Dean, by going off track. Tough break for Dicesare.
Yeah, he did, but I mean, it was Wilkie who I meant to be talking about, not Dicesare. That's why I said I wasn't sure who I was talking about. Wilkie here. This is the important stop. He needs to go sub 14 seconds. I mean, I'd like to see him around 12 seconds on this pit stop, but we'll see how he does.
So we'll look at the pit lane right now, the pit lane camera. Dicesare is going to go through. That's not a question at all. Stouffer is quite a ways back. He's on the main straightaway right now, Dean.
13.6 from Wilkie. That is a great stop. This shit on Stouffer's by.
Stouffer's he's going through the S's right now, so Wilkie will maintain coming out of pit road, but it's close.
I thought Stouffer momentarily looked like he was by, but Wilkie does enough. The quick pit stop, great job by Wilkie, by both of them, really. This battle is going to continue for the rest of the race. And
the reason why it looked like that is because the track actually breaks away from the pit lane, so it gives you a little bit of a false indication there. But Stouffer is very close, Dean, and now he's going to have to put Wilkie under some pressure. But I think Wilkie being able to stay on his pace and get around Reinhard, I think that's going to be the difference in this battle for third.
But you can see how important these pit stops are. Look at the precision of these guys. Like 14.2, a little bit of a mistake from Wilkie through that corner, but the 14.2, a 13.6. These are the type of pit stops that guys that know what they're doing are doing. When you're doing a 21-1 like Matt Koontz does, that's just not going to get it cut. I know he had to put more fuel in. He had to shorten stop earlier, but all things considered, I mean, I think these guys planned it out fast. Wilkie and Stowe, excellent.
Hot battle back here, 7th place. Theo Taylor Blake Salindia all over Theo Taylor, and he is trying to find a way by that number 777. He's looking on the inside, going to the hairpin. He's going to back down the corner and maybe try to get a run off. He does.
Theo Taylor lights up the tires a little bit there, gives him a chance. Blake being very, very patient, but I like what I'm seeing out of this new driver, man. He's looking good.
Blake Salindia, he's got to run down the casino straightaway. Will this be the move that he needs as they come underneath the Dodge sign there? Salindia on the outside, he's going to take the long way through, but will have the advantage in the corner. He locks up. That's going to be a time penalty.
Yeah, I think he just was too scared to get down there. There was room. I mean, Theo Taylor was giving him room to race, but Blake, not wanting to cause an incident, just kind of blew the corner there.
3rd place battle. Wilkie, 1 second lead over Stouffer. Stouffer less fuel in the tank. Wilkie less fuel in the tank than Stouffer, apologies. So that's going to be a disadvantage for Stouffer. He really need to come out in front of Wilkie there, I think, to have a chance at the podium.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's going to be tough. Stouffer's not going to give up. He's a hard racer. He's going to come in here and try for this podium. You know it.
Koontz dropping off the back of this group. He came in right in the mix of this battle. He is 13 seconds back, 11 seconds ahead of Luke Cantanaka. So these guys under no pressure. Theo Taylor back under pressure from Blake Salindia. So Blake Salindia is the faster driver right now, Dean. I see some damage to the floor and to the wing of that 777 Porsche. But what, Blake, what do you do if you're Blake Salindia? You obviously don't want to come out here in your first race and cause an issue. But at the same time, you're faster than him.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're talking about 7th and 8th, now pride is going to get you. You're a race car driver. You're going to want this spot no matter what it's worth to you. But really, he's got to think big picture. New league, new guys. Let's not ruffle any feathers. We'll put him under pressure. If Theo makes a mistake, take the spot. If he doesn't, let's not do anything crazy.
So Blake Salindia, he has caught back up to Theo Taylor, jumping on board, looking out the back of Theo Taylor's machine here, going into the Senna S's turn 1 and 2 here, and he's taking a little bit wider entry into turn 2. That gives him a great launch off turn 2, Dean.
It does, and I've seen that several times here tonight. That launch of utmost importance to keep these guys at bay entering the next set of corners.
Theo Taylor, he has got a mirror full from Blake Salindia. Blake deep on the brakes. Theo Taylor a little bit conservative entering turn number 6 there. Salindia, he has got that car cooking right now.
He is. He's heating up. I mean, if he was driving this quickly earlier on in the race, I think he's seen a little further up the board. But I love the patience I'm seeing from him. And
Taylor locks up.
Taylor makes the mistake we're talking about. That's how you do it. Patience pays off. Blake Salindia is through. Up to 7th place. Theo Taylor is going to have to fight back here.
2 seconds, the disadvantage now. Theo Taylor, and we've seen that tonight, Dean. You just get into that turn 6-7 corridor there, and it's a deceiving turn because you come in so fast. The turn's a little bit sweeping and then tightens up. And I've seen accidents and not accidents, but drivers get off course there many, many times.
Yeah, we've seen it all night long, and these tires get really old, Jared. We haven't seen as many incidents as I was expecting, but they're going to continue here for anybody trying to lay down any lap times. But, up front, give another shout out to Reinhard. Unbelievably, 21 seconds over Nick Dicesare at this point.
This is a dominating performance by William Reinhard. He came out to play today, and he is in charge of this race. Unless something massive happens off track or a wreck or something, this race is his to lose. Right now, the battle on track is between 3rd and 4th position. Only 0.6 of a second between Wilkie and Stouffer as they head down into the hairpin.
As we watch this, so I just want to keep talking about Reinhard for a minute. And Jared, you know how difficult it is when you're out on the lead. If you're anywhere on the track and you got 20-second gap, nobody in front of you, nobody behind you. I mean, you can almost lull yourself to sleep. So, Reinhardt's really got to stay focused here.
Stouffer taking a little bit of peek there. Dean, I never, ever, when I race, pay attention to the gap whatsoever. I always just drive somewhere in the 95 to 100% every time.
Well, that's very wise, and I think maybe Reinhardt should be doing the same thing.
He did go
I know
off track.
myself, I might get a little bit too much comfort level out there, and I can tend to make a mistake when I get all alone out there. It's kind of like driving on the old highway and sign after sign coming by, and wheat field after wheat field, whatever it is. And the next thing you know, you're falling asleep hitting the rumble strips.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is. And racing on oval and having a 20-second lead, a lot different than racing on a road course. The road course, you still have these turns. You still have these braking points. And on oval, you have the line you need to hit, which is a little bit harder, in my opinion, to do perfectly lap after lap. And I think it's a lot more hard to be way out in front on an oval than a road course.
Well, I think you make some valid points there. The track itself will keep your attention. But nonetheless, try to put a little drama in there for Reinhardt from the booth, but this Wilkie-Stouffer battle, man, I mean, we don't have to make anything up here. This is heating up.
Stouffer with a great run through the hairpin down there. But while you're talking, Reinhard did go off track. Didn't lose any time. Lost about a second to Nick Dicesare. But
proof.
Oh, and Stouffer. Oh, there he's back. Thought we lost him.
Oh, and he is blinking. He is blinking in and out, Jared. Chris Stouffer with we would hate to see this. What a race he is having. Chris Stouffer, hopefully everything settles down.
It looks like it has. He has caught up to the back of Josh Wilkie. This is a battle for the final step on the podium. Well, he might be there. He might be gone.
Yeah, this is difficult for both him and for Wilkie. Not only is Wilkie under heat, but he's under heat from a cloaked car. So it's very difficult.
Stouffer looks to be stabilizing just a little bit, but I'd be yelling upstairs to get off the internet, kids.
What's the old machine from the old Star Trek days, Jared? Used to have the cloaking devices.
Yeah, there you go. And Stouffer is backing off. I think he realizes that the connection is not working out right now.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, I think it's going to settle down. It looks like it already has, and he can re-engage here, but you definitely don't want to ruin not only your race, but another guy's due to a connection issue.
Smart racing, but these guys, we look back through the field. Koontz by himself, 5th place. Decent salvage tonight, but I think he probably wanted more in this race.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Koontz.
Oh, Koontz, yes, he definitely wanted more out of this race. But again, Koontz is a guy who needs track time. If he doesn't get it during the week, he's not that familiar with the track. He will improve. I predicted he'd be in the top 5. Here he is in 5th place. Thought he might even go higher than that, but it didn't work out for him tonight. He'll be a little disappointed, but you get him on a track where he's familiar and has some track time, he can be unbeatable.
He did put in quite a bit of laps last night, but maybe the conditions are a little bit different for him. Luke Cantanaka started 6th, is 6th. And he's been in some battles tonight, Dean, but he is having a solid night. Going to have a good run out of this one here tonight in that position. I think probably where we expected him to finish.
Well, yeah, he's a bit of a wild card. I mean, he can go up a couple, down a couple, but a really quality driver. I've been really impressed with him all season long. And, I think he's got, a bright future. I hope that he continues in with this because I think you can see him challenging for race wins as he gets more and more accustomed to what's going on.
Yeah, he's doing great out there in the 0-2 machine. Salindia behind him in his debut, his teammate there in 7th, Theo Taylor. Definitely, I don't think he's having the night he's wanted to have tonight, Dean, nor is Joe Flanagan in 8th and 9th. Both those drivers kind of either have had some off tracks or have made maybe a strategy call that just didn't work off as Koontz goes off track in the same spot he did earlier, but not going to cost him anything.
Yeah, you talk about Theo Taylor. I mean, he's got to be really disappointed. This is a fast race car driver. He just does not have the night. I mean, kind of like Lane Allen. Lane Allen's got speed. It hasn't worked out for him. But Flanagan, poor Flanagan, the only guy to take tires, and it just hasn't paid off at all. Nobody else took tires on either stop, and Flanagan just been left out.
Yeah, he has. The strategy, that was 25 seconds that he lost, Dean. He's 44 seconds behind right now, the guy in front of him. So I think he would be probably around the Lou Cantonaka, Blake Salindia area, Dean, if he hadn't.
He might be in front of Koontz. I mean, Koontz is only 22 seconds ahead of him. So Flanagan cost himself, maybe a top 5.
Yeah, that's tough. And as you see him go around Lane Allen, that's not for position. And Dean, you talked about Lane Allen just not said he loved the track, but the track just did not reciprocate for him tonight.
Yeah, he loves it, but I mean, I don't know if he loves it from the stands or from the car. So I don't know, Lane Allen not having the night that he would look for and we'd expect from him, but he'll be back to fight another day. And but Reinhard out here opening his speed back up. Wilkie and Stouffer still battling.
7 minutes to go. Wilkie locks it up into the hairpin. That's going to give Stouffer an opportunity here, coming down to Casino Straight.
Man, he can get there, but when's he going to make this move? There's not a whole lot of time left, and he's got to make this move soon. Jared, I'm not sure where the best place to look at for him is.
I would say the Wall of Champions area, or the Quebec Wall area, whatever you want to call it, down here in 11 and 12. And Wilkie not good through that section. Stouffer all over the back of him. He might make the move down to turn 1 in the center curves.
Here we go, side by side.
And Wilkie's going to stay ahead of him. Stouffer decided not to go side by side through there. And probably a good move, but now he's going to have to regroup a little bit.
Yeah, Stouffer playing with kid gloves here, and I like that. But, if he wants this podium, he's going to have to take it. Wilkie will not give it to him. I guarantee you that.
Good move down through the kink there into turn number 6. And Wilkie has struggled through this section through here. Does okay through the 6-7 corridor here. But the 8-9 corridor, we've seen this catch-out drivers. Matt Koontz has struggled through this section. And Stouffer putting on some pressure right now.
Yeah, these guys are absolutely flying around this track. In mid-battle, still laying down. I mean, Stouffer was almost the fastest guy on the track behind Reinhard only.
Now, Dean, let me ask you this. Stouffer, first race of the year, he's shown to be very capable in this vehicle, in this situation. Josh Wilkie, he's got a championship to think about. He's still in it. He needs some help, but he's still in this battle. There is only a 3-point difference between 4th and 5th, or 3rd and 4th position. How do you approach that with a guy that has nothing to lose behind you?
Protect at all costs. I mean, normally I would say maybe, you let him go, you be a little more conservative, but in a series, it doesn't have a lot of drivers. There's not a lot of position gain. You need every spot you can get. This 3 points could be the difference, and he's got to keep it.
Wilkie and Stouffer. This is the battle on the track. This is where we're going to focus. Reinhard, 33 seconds ahead of this battle. He has checked out. Dicesare a further 11 seconds ahead of this battle, but surprisingly, this group, these two drivers are catching Dicesare. I don't think there's enough time for them to get there, but they are catching him. But this is the battle on the track. Nobody else anywhere close to each other right now.
Yeah, these guys have made up like 8 seconds since the biggest gap between Dicesare, Wilkie, and Stouffer. Now, Dicesare could be kind of taking it easy, just being cautious out there, but these two are absolutely flying, and they're flying in the middle of a battle, so very impressive.
Wilkie still holding on to that section, but this is where he's a little bit slower through here, Dean. We bring up the sector times, and you'll see just not quite between him and Stouffer, who has had the advantage through there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got the portion of the track that they like a little bit better than the other, but as long as you can maintain the position and get back to more favorable part of the track, you'll be just fine. And, the laps are winding down. The time is winding down. We're on about 3 to go here, I think, Jared.
Yeah, I was about to say, we are projected 3 laps to go, all depending on where William Reinhard is on the track, but at the minimum, probably 3 laps. And there is Stouffer. He is there. He is solid through Sector 2 and 3, but Dean, he's so off in Sector 1. He loses all of his time in Sector 1.
He does, and he's got to do a better job. I'm sure he's aware of that, of staying closer through the sector one so that he can excel in the other sectors and make his move.
He is all over the back of Koontz now, and maybe it might have been just a passing angle or something, but a lot better through this sector this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to think he's listening to us, Jared, and he's taking our advice. But Stouffer, I mean, I just love what I've seen out of him. Very competitive driver. He cannot be shaken, and he will make a move here before it's over. I just don't know if it'll be successful or not.
2 minutes, 40 seconds. William Reinhard, give him his shot. He is coming down the casino straight, so he is going to take this. This is not going to be the white flag lap. No, it is not going to be white flag lap. So we still have at least 2 more laps to go, Dean.
Oh, and Stouffer with a nice angle through that corner, trying to get the run off. It's not perfect, but it's not bad either.
Down the casino straight, and Wilkie covering the inside. Stouffer just trying to pick up all the draft he can. You'll watch him zigzag down this corner, this straightaway. Stouffer sticks his nose out there. He's going to dive in down into the corner. He's not going to make the move, though.
No, but I like it. You got to keep showing it. You got to threaten, and he's attempting, and he's got another good run out of this corner, Jared.
Down the front straightaway into the center curves, turn 1 and 2, and Wilkie drives in deep. Stouffer with a little bit angle off turn 2. Can he get a run off of this turn 2? No. Wilkie with a great exit.
You can just tell. I mean, we know what Wilkie can do, but Stouffer, a little bit of an unknown. You can tell by the angles that he's adjusting through these corners that he is a race car driver. This man knows what he's doing, and he is trying everything he can. He's got to quickly regroup here, though, and take one last shot at this thing.
While that was going on, Blake Salindia has gotten around his teammate and team owner, Luke Antonaka, for 6th place on debut. Great job. And that whole gap, Dean, has tightened up back here. A minute to go, and we have 4 cars under a blanket back for 6th through 9th.
Of course we do. It's Flanagan coming back late, trying to pick up 1, 2, maybe 3 spots on those fresher tires. I don't know if he can do that, but very interesting. Picture
in picture. So we'll stay with the top group right now, but we'll try to keep an eye out on the second group. Wilkie using every bit of pavement coming out of the hairpin. Stouffer just cannot get a run right now.
He just can't. I mean, it's just so difficult.
Down the casino straightaway. Stouffer dummies him. Wilkie deep on the brakes, and he's going to maintain through the Wall of Champions area.
Yeah, Wilkie in the preferred position here. We are on the final lap here, Jared.
Final lap, and Stouffer looking underneath Wilkie into turn 1. He has turned it up to 10 now, Dean. He is there.
He's there. He's got one more shot at this thing. He's got to make it happen.
Down into 3 and 4. Stouffer on Wilkie. We'll look at that battle that battle for 6th place as soon as we have an opportunity to. Very tightening up all over the track. Wilkie leading right now with Stouffer right behind him. This is a battle for the last step on the podium. Salindia goes off track. While we're talking about that, he's going to lose 1 spot. Theo Taylor's also off track. Flanagan's going to get around both.
Flanagan moving up late in this race. Wilkie with a masterful job on exit at one of those corners. Allow him to keep the spot. Stouffer tries to make a push. That race basically over at this point.
Wilkie with another opportunity Stouffer with another opportunity into the hairpin out of this corner. He's going to have the launch of a lifetime through here. Takes a little bit narrow angle. Gets loose off the corner, Dean. I think that's going to do it for the podium.
That's going to do it for that. You got Flanagan chasing Antonaka. And I don't know if Flanagan can get this one, but he already got 2, Jared.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that replay because basically Salindia blew the corner, and Theo Taylor was underneath of him, had to go take evasive action there to go through. So they both got slowdown penalties. Salindia a little bit more of a slowdown penalty, and now we see the battle on track. Antonaka has lost his hood in the process of all of this going on as he hit the wall during that whole situation. Flanagan is there as they come down into the hairpin. Can he recover for a 6th place finish here tonight after being basically 9th or 10th all night long? Great exit off the corner down Casino straightaway.
he is coming into it.
Tanaka covers off the inside. It's going to be a draft down the casino straightaway. Flanagan's going to pull to the outside line.
Flanagan with a late move.
Tanaka, there's no way he's going to make the corner. He does make the corner. What a move by Tanaka. I thought there was no way. He's going to hold on for 6th. Flanagan 7th at the line. Yes, and Theo Taylor right behind in 8th.
Man, what racing over there. But, you know, our race winner got a little neglected at the end. William Reinhard, what an excellent job. You know, there was some battles going on, but Reinhard, what a victory for him.
Yeah, William Reinhard, excellent job. Dominating performance in his Ford tonight, and he will grab the victory. His 2nd on the year, and a dominating performance for William Reinhard. Nick Dicesare will grab 2nd, and Josh Wilkie holds off Chris Stouffer for 3rd place tonight. Dean, we didn't get a chance to talk a lot about Reinhard, but that's probably a good thing because he was so far out in front, didn't really have any struggles, and there you see him doing the burnouts, burning it down here in Montreal.
Yeah, I mean, when you're winning a race, your name isn't getting called much. All that means is dominance. I mean, it means sheer dominance. William Reinhard putting it to some really great drivers out here, so he's got to be thrilled, and he looks thrilled. But Jared, this series and these, you know, an hour and a half of racing, green flag racing, 2 pit stops, and in the last lap, we have, I mean, shuffles between 3rd and 8th place or something, 9th place even. Unbelievable action.
Unbelievable. It was a great race all night long, and Nick Dicesare going to end up grabbing 2nd place. But Josh Wilkie and Chris Stover put on a show. Koontz with some strategy in there, indeed. But Joe Flanagan at the end there, he picked up 2 positions, and poor Blake Salindia ended up not being able to finish. Something may have happened to that car as he went off the track, might have blown the engine is what it looks like here. So tough break for Blake Salindia, who was 6th place on the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, tough, but, you know, all things considered, your first race in a new league, meeting new people, I thought he showed himself incredibly well. He's going to be well-liked around the garage for the way he raced tonight, and I really like what I've seen out of the 4.
And here's what happened, Dean. There's an issue here. We're looking at the replay. Let's get a better look at this replay. So this is a little bit different than what we saw on the track on this replay. So let's take a look. So Blake Salindia, he is down the back straightaway here, and he's pulling to the left. He's trying to let his teammate go, and his teammate runs in the back of him. And they make contact. He hits the wall, jumps the curbing. Theo Taylor has to take evasive action. That's what happened. That's how Tanaka lost his hood. And what an unfortunate way to end the race for all those drivers.
Wow.
Yeah, Salindia looks like maybe an engine may have blown there, Dean, but tough break for Salindia, and he's trying to get out of the way, and I think he just got ran into. But the night belongs to William Reinhard, and let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the interviews, and starting with Mr. Josh Wilkie in the 00. Josh, congratulations on the podium finish, but you had to earn it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an extremely hard race there. Hats off to Chris for the pressure all night, and Joe as well there, so I'm not sure what happened. He fell back, but yeah, excellent race. That was hard. We
started 3rd and you finished 3rd, but tonight, I mean, you were down to 5th, down to 6th at one point in time. You're behind Luke Tanaka. Matt Koontz is up in that battle as well. You talked about Flanagan. What was going on with the 007 tonight? Was this track just difficult, or was it just, the guys out there were just really prepared and you had to really earn it?
Yeah, a little of both, I'd say, for sure. Difficult track, for sure. I'm not really comfy around here. I'm probably more comfortable after this evening than I've ever been around here. And the guys were putting pressure on me like crazy. So I had some kind of a bobble in the pit. I'm not sure what happened there. I came out, probably 6 or 7 seconds or something more. I think I was 53 in the pit. They were 40 something. And then it was just a matter of trying to fight back through traffic there, and it was not easy. They didn't make it easy for me. So yeah, I'm tired.
It was an endurance race for sure. This track is a handful in any vehicle you drive. Looking at the race, though, tonight, you got your 4th podium finish of the year. You're going to move up 1 position just into 5th place. halfway through the season, you're about 60 points back. How are you feeling about the next 6 races? Can you mount a charge on your teammate and Nick Dicesare, who have really started to turn it up here lately?
Yeah, absolutely. Hats off to Will there. He really has been turning it up. He's found some speed these days. He's relatively untouchable. There is a few tracks coming up that I think are going to be a little more Porsche, lean a little more towards the Porsche and so on, and tracks that I enjoy as well. So still going to keep digging in there and see what happens. It's too bad I missed the first one and my computer blew up on the second one there, but I'm having a blast with these guys in here. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, Josh, in 2 weeks we're going to Petit Le Mans, Road Atlanta. How are you feeling about that track?
Yeah, that's one of my very favorite tracks. I love that track. Not to say I'm some kind of master around it, but I do really enjoy that track. So looking forward to it. The high speed S's and all that stuff. It's a great track. So yeah, looking forward to it, man.
Well, Josh, congratulations on yet another podium this year. I'm going to turn the mic over to you and let you have the last word here on your race tonight.
Yeah, so big hats off to you guys again for sure for putting these on. It's been great. It's good to see more people showing up tonight and stuff. Hopefully we can get even more for the next few. Big ups there to Will for the win tonight. He's out there just ripping. He's been doing great lately. The progress, he's gotten faster all around in the last while. So hats off to him. Thanks a lot to you guys, and we'll see you next time.
All right, Dean, that was our third place finisher, Josh Wilkie, and I believe you've caught up with the second step of the podium, Mr. Nick Dicesare.
Yeah, I got the double zero, Nick Dicesare. Another great finish, a solid second place finish, Nick. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. It was a hard race, like Josh said. It was really physical out there. I know I was alone for most of the time, but I felt like I was doing a lot of work, and it seems like every lap I could run, a decent time, and Will could just do maybe 2, 3, 4 tenths better every lap. So couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't far off at all, Nick. We've seen early in the race, you're up there. He pulls maybe 4 seconds on you. You whittle that something to that effect, and you whittle it down to maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds. And we're thinking, okay, well, I'm talking you up, thinking, well, Nick's playing, he's saving tire, he's going at different times. But talk a little bit about that early ebb and flow and what you were thinking on whether you could catch him or not.
And it from practice and everything, it looked like he was pretty untouchable, but I was actually a little bit surprised I was able to pull within 2 seconds of him. But I don't know if you guys caught on the broadcast, but I scraped the wall of champions there for a 0x, luckily, but kind of scared me, and I had to back down the pace just to make sure overall I wasn't pushing too hard, and I wanted to come home at least second and not on the hook on the wrecker.
Yeah, well, and that's always a good call. I mean, you got a championship to think about here. You come in here with a 30-point lead, 39 over Reinhard. You're going to lose a couple of points, but a solid second is solidifying that. And obviously, I'm going to say that came into play in your thinking.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the championship, you always want to finish a race. If you start it, you always want to finish. So, even separate from points, I always want to not. Obviously, you don't want to junk your car. So,
Absolutely, Nick. But later in the race here, like you talked about it, you spent a lot of time alone on the track out here, and just talk about trying to keep up your focus. And yeah, you've got the corners and the tracks to deal with, but those aches and pains and stuff, they're accentuated when you're really not racing anybody.
yeah, it's tough to keep your focus, and I don't know what was going on tonight, but I had a real hard time with seeing. Like my eyes got dry. I was making it hard to look into the corners and hit apexes, and I'm sure you guys saw me locking up and missing a lot of apexes there in the second half of the race, it didn't cost me too much, but it's definitely you want to not do that, and we're gonna have to get that figured out for next race.
Well, we figure that you'll do just that. There's no doubt about it. We look forward to that next race, Road Atlanta. How you feeling about that, Nick?
It's a good track. I don't have a crazy amount of laps on it. We'll probably try and put at least one practice in before the race in 2 weeks, and we'll see how it goes. I think the car will be all right there. The Ford is kind of like a high-speed corner type of car, so the S's should be fun with the Ford.
Definitely should be fun. We've had a ton of fun watching you race all year long, Nick. Congrats again on second place, man. And any shout outs you want to give, now's the time.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for letting us race, putting up a broadcast, and it was fun racing around everyone tonight. And I'm ready for the next 2 weeks, or in 2 weeks, and I'll see you guys then.
All right, Jared. That's second place finisher, Nick Dicesare.
And I've caught up with the race winner, William Reinhard. William, congratulations. You took the lead at the very during qualifying, and you never looked back.
Yeah, Jared. Kind of going into the weekend, going through practices, I felt good in the car. I've been running the track a lot this year, and so I've just been feeling good on it. And coming into qualifying, when I knew I had that little gap on Nick, I felt pretty good going into the race, and it just never went back from that.
Yeah, talk us through that beginning part. I mean, Nick was there through a lot of the majority of the first round of pit stops, somewhere between 1 and 5 seconds through most of that run. But after that first pit stop, it looked like you just found another level and just kept hitting it, just being consistent, and that gap just continued to balloon.
Yeah, going into the start of the race there, and kind of at the end of practice when I was going out, I just wasn't really feeling the car all that well. And there at the start of the race, I wasn't doing stuff I should have been. I was kind of missing the apexes, and just having a bit of trouble. And then as I started getting those tires a bit warmer and the fuel level dropped a bit, I started getting a little bit more confident. And I was getting better on the brakes, and I was able to really hit the corners a lot better. And so it was, just at the beginning there was just kind of didn't have what I wanted, and then slowly I started building it back up and managed to get back up to the level where I could start increasing the gap between me and Nick, and just kept going from there.
Yeah, and you like we said, you opened up a massive gap. You were able to dominate this race. Looking forward a little bit now, I mean, you started off the season kind of up and down just a little bit, but you've come into your own. 2 straight wins. You won at Le Mans last week in a dominating fashion as well, but you're only 33 points behind Nick Dicesare halfway through the season, so plenty of time to get those points back. How are you feeling in the second half of the season going forward?
I'm feeling a lot better. The first half of the season, it was just it was a bunch of tracks I'd never really driven. Zandvoort was a track I'd only ever driven a handful of times in my entire sim racing career, and so going on there, it was kind of a lot of just kind of learn the lines and just put in practice until it all worked. And then coming in here into the second half of the season, it's all tracks I have a lot of time and experience on. I've run a lot of IMSA races for where we were today, and then I've done a few 24-hour events at Le Mans, which kind of makes me have a lot of confidence in my ability to drive the circuits. And coming in here to the second half of the season, it's some tracks I don't really drive at all, and then some of the tracks like Road Atlanta, I have a bit of experience on, so I'm hoping that I can keep kind of up in the podium positions and maybe challenge Nick for that head spot in the championship.
Well, William, I think you're going to give it the old college try at the very minimum, but going to Road Atlanta, you said you have a lot of experience there. Can this 64 team get back out there in victory lane and make it 3 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, we can always hope. There's a lot that can happen. Really what it's going to come down to is just getting in some practice, feeling good in the car, and just going forward from there.
Well, William, congratulations on a dominating performance. I'm going to let you have the last word. Turn the mic over to you, and congratulations on the victory.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. I just want to thank you and Dean being out here. Missed you guys at Le Mans last week, but it's great to have you guys out here today, just kind of broadcasting the entire race. I know I had a few people that were watching, and I know that they enjoyed watching the race, and I'm just really thankful that you guys are out here broadcasting for us.
Well, we appreciate it, William, and best of luck as the season goes on. Dean, that was our podium, our winner tonight, William Reinhard.
Yeah, William Reinhardt, What more can you say? What a dominant performance he put on. You talk about, you listen to him talk about how confident he is on tracks where that he has some experience on, and oh boy, I mean, if he's feeling confident going forward after what we've seen this week, he won last week as well. He might be unstoppable at this point.
It's going to be interesting to see as we head to Road Atlanta in 2 weeks' time, and we will see you guys on that race there. But Dean, what a season it's been so far. We got plenty of other action coming up on Full Throttle TV Monday night. The last race before the playoffs begin at Full Throttle Sim Racing in their Dark Matter Designs Cup Series. Monday night at Daytona. I don't know how you can get any more edgy or any more crazier than that, as 3 drivers are trying to get into the playoffs on Monday night at the minimum, and it's going to be interesting. You don't want to miss that. We'll have all the coverage at 9 p.m. on Monday. Then on Tuesday, Kicking Asphalt, their march to the playoffs continues with the next-gen car. Those guys will be in action on Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night, Dean Doucette, he's going to be in the booth, so you want to make sure you tune in just for that reason alone, but he's going to have the first playoff race of the Blackwater Products Truck Series on Full Throttle TV. You don't want to miss that. We'll have all the action, but for tonight, for Montreal, for the Sim Racing Points Sportscar Challenge, for Full Throttle TV, for Dean Doucette, I'm Jared Carr. We will see you guys out on the track.